When you hear the word detox, your mind probably goes in one of two directions. Either you imagine some green juice, lemon ginger shot, or herbal tea being advertised on Instagram. Or you imagine a sort of pseudoscientific wellness culture that tries to sell the idea that your body is dirty and needs to be cleaned out. And if you're scientifically minded, you probably get skeptical because the human body already has a liver, kidneys, lungs, and skin designed to detoxify naturally. So why would you need a special drink or remedy? But here's where I want to pause and reflect. When people look for detox remedies, especially for something like cough and cold, it's not just about science. It's about meaning. It's about the experience of being unwell, feeling weighed down, feeling clogged, and the symbolic need to clear space, to breathe, to lighten the load. That's what detox really is, a psychological and physical process of letting go. Think about what happens when you get a cough or a cold. Physically, your body is fighting. Your immune system is on overdrive. Mucus is being produced, your throat is inflamed, your body temperature may rise, you feel sluggish. But beyond the biology, what's actually happening to you psychologically? You're forced to slow down. You're forced to confront your body. You're forced to sit with discomfort. For a lot of people, this is terrifying because in modern life, we're so disconnected from our bodies. We push, we grind, we suppress symptoms with coffee or painkillers so we can keep working. And then when a cough hits, we view it as an enemy. We just want to kill it, to shut it up, so we can keep going. But from another perspective, the cough is your body's attempt to heal. The mucus is your body clearing toxins. The fever is your body burning invaders. The fatigue is your body begging for rest. So maybe the first detox remedy isn't some herbal mixture. Maybe it's the shift in perspective, that being sick is not a failure, it's a cleansing. Now, does that mean we shouldn't look for remedies? Of course not. Remedies can soothe, support, and speed up recovery. But the mindset matters. If you treat remedies as weapons to suppress your body, you're fighting against yourself. If you treat remedies as allies to support your body, you're working with yourself. And that shift changes everything. Because healing isn't just physical, it's relational. It's the relationship between you and your own body. And that relationship is often toxic. People feel betrayed by their bodies, ashamed of their weakness, angry that they're sick. But the truth is, your body is on your side. Even when you're coughing your lungs out, your body is trying to protect you. So any detox remedy, whether it's ginger tea, turmeric milk, or steam inhalation, works best when it's infused with this mindset. I am supporting my body, not punishing it. Now, let's talk about actual remedies. Throughout history, humans have always turned to nature for relief. Ginger, honey, turmeric, garlic, lemon, these are ingredients passed down through generations. And what's fascinating is that modern science has validated many of them. Honey coats the throat and has antimicrobial properties. Ginger reduces inflammation and warms the body. Turmeric is a powerful antioxidant. Garlic boosts immunity. Lemon provides vitamin C, but beyond their biochemical effects, these remedies carry cultural and emotional power. When your grandmother makes you ginger tea, it's not just the ginger that heals you. It's the care, the love, the ritual. That cup of tea tells you you're not alone, you're being cared for. And that lowers stress, which itself boosts immunity. So, in a sense, the most powerful detox remedy is connection. Let's explore why we even crave detox when we're sick. A cough feels like something is stuck inside you. Your chest feels heavy, your sinuses clogged, your throat blocked. So there's this visceral sense of being polluted. Detox remedies symbolically match this. Warm liquids to flush, steam to clear, spices to burn out toxins, rest to reset. Whether or not toxins are literally being flushed isn't the point. The point is, the rituals align with the body's intuitive need to release. This is why hot showers feel so good when you're congested. This is why sweating under blankets feels cathartic. The body wants to push out, and remedies create the conditions for that release. But here's where I think things get deeper. Why do some people get sick more often than others? Part of it is genetics, part is environment, part is exposure. But a huge piece is stress. Chronic stress weakens the immune system. Poor sleep, processed food, constant digital stimulation, all of these overload your body. And then when a virus comes along, you collapse. So the real detox isn't just about lemon water, it's about detoxing your lifestyle. Detoxing from overwork, from cheap dopamine, from constant stimulation. When you rest, when you breathe, when you disconnect from screens, you're giving your immune system space to operate. So one of the best detox remedies for cough and cold is actually silence. Turn off the noise. Let your body recalibrate. Think about how ancient traditions approached healing. In Ayurveda, when you get sick, the focus isn't just on herbs, it's on restoring balance. In Chinese medicine, a cough might be seen as an imbalance in heat and cold, or dampness and dryness. In indigenous traditions, remedies often involve not just plants, but also rituals of cleansing, smoke, prayer, fasting. What's the common thread? Illness is not just physical, it's a disruption of harmony. And the remedy is not just biochemical, it's symbolic. Which means if you only focus on the chemical, you miss half the healing. And this is what modern wellness culture often misses. People want a superfood, a hack, a quick fix. But real healing requires listening. Listening to your body, your environment, your emotions. That's what detox really is, listening and responding. Now let's explore something uncomfortable. Why do people often ignore early signs of illness? You feel a tickle in your throat, you keep working, you feel fatigue, you push harder, until suddenly you collapse. Part of this is cultural conditioning. We're taught that productivity is more valuable than well-being. But part of it is also trauma. A lot of people grew up in environments where being sick wasn't safe. You'd be shamed, neglected, or punished. So, as adults, they suppress illness until their body forces them to stop. In that sense, detox remedies are not just physical, they're reprinting. They're a way of telling yourself it's okay to rest, it's okay to care for yourself, you deserve healing. That psychological message is often more important than the ingredients. Let's talk specifics for a moment. Imagine you're sick with a cough and cold. What are the core remedies across cultures? Warm liquid soups, teas, broths. Steam inhalation with eucalyptus or menthol. Honey and ginger mixtures. Gargling with salt water. Rest, hydration, sunlight if possible. These are simple, accessible, time-tested. But here's the trap. Because they're simple, people dismiss them. We want fancy solutions, pharmaceutical strength, cutting-edge hacks. But sometimes the body doesn't need complexity, it needs space and support. And that's what these remedies provide. Now, let's pull this back to the bigger picture. Why are people so obsessed with detox culture in general? Because modern life is toxic. Not just chemically, but emotionally. We're overloaded with processed food, polluted air, endless notifications, social pressure, burnout. Our systems are clogged, not just our sinuses, but our minds. So when people crave detox, what they're really craving is relief. Relief from overwhelm, from noise, from speed. That's why people pay thousands for retreats, cleanses, fasting protocols. It's not about the lemon juice, it's about stepping away from chaos. And when you're sick with a cough and cold, your body forces you into that retreat. It's like an enforced detox. You can either resent it or embrace it. So maybe the real detox remedy is surrender. Surrender to the body's wisdom. Surrender to slowing down. Surrender to care. And once you embrace that, then the teas, soups, herbs, they become amplifiers of healing, not substitutes for it. One thing I think we rarely talk about is the emotional symbolism of a cough. If you really think about it, coughing is your body's way of forcing something out. You don't control it. It interrupts you, cuts through your words, takes over your breath. And if you zoom out, it's almost like a metaphor for all the things inside of us that we suppress. How many of us swallow our words, hold back our feelings, keep things bottled up? When you finally cough, it's like the body saying, enough. This is coming out whether you like it or not. In a strange way, a cough is honest. It doesn't hide, it doesn't pretend, it doesn't care about being polite. It just clears space. And maybe part of why it feels so disruptive is because it reminds us how little control we actually have. The same is true with mucus. Nobody likes to talk about mucus, but it's the body's way of flushing irritants, bacteria, and viruses. It feels gross, it's messy, and we think of it as disgusting. But what's actually happening? Your body is producing a protective layer, trapping invaders and moving them out. That's detox in real time. The problem is that our relationship to our body is often adversarial. We see symptoms as the enemy. But if you reframe it, symptoms are evidence of your body working for you, not against you. The detox remedy here isn't about eliminating the mucus. It is about creating the conditions where the body can complete its process without being overwhelmed. Now, here's the interesting psychological angle. Why do so many people fight symptoms instead of listening to them? Because symptoms are inconvenient. They remind you that you're vulnerable, that you're not in control, that you need to stop. And if your identity is built around being productive, strong, dependable, then admitting weakness feels unbearable, so you suppress it. You pop a pill, chug some coffee, keep working, but the cost is that you extend your illness or you burn yourself out even further. So the detox remedy, in a deeper sense, is the courage to rest. The courage to say, I am sick, and that's okay. That's actually harder than drinking turmeric milk, because it requires you to confront your ego. Let's bring in cultural practices. In Ayurveda, a cough and cold are often seen as an imbalance of kapha, heaviness, dampness, stagnation. The remedies focus on warming spices, light foods, rest, and cleansing. In Chinese medicine, phlegm and congestion are interpreted through patterns of damp heat or wind cold, and remedies involve herbs, acupuncture, and dietary changes. In indigenous traditions, smoke from sage or cedar might be used to clear the lungs symbolically and physically. These traditions may look very different, but notice the common theme. Illness is a sign of imbalance, and healing is about restoring flow. Whether it's mucus flow, energy flow, or spiritual flow, the principle is the same. A cough is blocked energy, and detox remedies create movement. And this brings us to the concept of ritual. Why do remedies matter more when they're prepared with care? Because ritual transforms the physical act into something meaningful. Drinking ginger tea alone might soothe your throat, but drinking ginger tea prepared by someone you love, with the smell filling the kitchen, and the warmth handed to you with care, that heals on multiple levels. It heals the body, but it also heals loneliness. And loneliness is one of the biggest toxins in our world today. So maybe the most underrated detox remedy is community. The presence of another human being saying, I see you, I care for you, you're not alone. Now let's talk about breath. When you're congested, breathing becomes difficult. And notice how psychologically destabilizing that is. When breath is blocked, anxiety rises. You feel trapped, suffocated. That panic is primal because breath is life. So remedies that open the airways, like steam inhalation or menthol, are powerful not only physiologically but emotionally. They give you back your freedom to breathe, and breathing itself is a detox. Every exhale releases carbon dioxide, a waste product. When you breathe deeply, you detoxify more effectively. But here's the paradox. Modern life trains us to breathe shallowly. Stress makes us hold our breath, hunch our shoulders, tighten our chest. So when you get sick, it forces you to pay attention to breathing again. And maybe that's part of the lesson. Maybe cough and cold are reminders. You forgot to breathe. Slow down. Reconnect with your breath. Now, why do some people get sick and recover quickly, while others linger for weeks? Often, it's about the body's reserves. If your body is nourished, rested, and cared for, it can fight and recover. If your body is depleted, malnourished, and stressed, it struggles. That's why prevention and lifestyle matter as much as remedies. Sleep, nutrition, movement, stress management, these are the real long-term detox practices. Without them, no amount of ginger shots will save you. But again, this isn't just science, it's psychology. Because most people know they should sleep, eat well, and manage stress. The question is why they don't. And the answer is often self-worth. Deep down, many people don't believe they deserve rest. They don't believe they're worth nourishing. So they sacrifice themselves to work, to others, to distractions, until the body rebels. In that sense, cough and cold are like interventions. The body saying, if you won't slow down voluntarily, I'll slow you down. So the detox remedy here is not just soup or tea. It's also self-compassion. To look at yourself in the mirror sick and tired, and instead of saying, I'm weak, I'm useless, to say, I'm human, and I deserve care. That simple shift can change the trajectory of healing. Because stress hormones drop, the immune system strengthens, and recovery accelerates. Self-criticism delays healing, self-compassion supports it. Let's go deeper into the cultural idea of toxins. In modern science, toxins are literal chemicals that damage the body. But in human experience, toxins are anything that overloads your system. A toxic workplace, a toxic relationship, a toxic environment. When you get sick, sometimes it's not just because of a virus. Sometimes it's because your whole system is overloaded with stress, resentment, suppressed emotions. Illness becomes the outlet. The cough isn't just clearing your lungs, it's expressing what you couldn't say. That's why some people experience emotional release when they're sick. They cry, they dream vividly, they feel vulnerable. The body-mind connection is real, and remedies that soothe the body also soothe the psyche. This is why warm liquids are so powerful. There's something primal about warmth entering the body. It softens, it comforts, it melts tension. A hot soup isn't just nutrients, it's safety. A warm compress on the chest isn't just heat, it's reassurance. When you're sick, you regress. You become like a child again. And the body craves mothering. That's why so many cultural remedies resemble comfort food. Broths, porridges, teas. They're not just medicine, they're nurturants. And that nurturance rewires your nervous system. It tells you you're allowed to rest, you're allowed to receive, and that is often the hardest detox for adults, detoxing from the belief that you must always give, always perform, always endure. Illness forces you to receive, and this brings us to an uncomfortable truth. Sometimes people resist healing because being sick is the only time they allow themselves to stop. For workaholics, illness becomes the only socially acceptable way to rest. For caretakers, being sick is the only time others take care of them. So unconsciously, some people hold on to sickness longer than necessary because it gives them what they can't give themselves. This doesn't mean they're refaking, it means their psyche is involved in their symptoms. And the remedy I send tea just ginger tea. It is restructuring their life so that rest, care, and attention are available without needing to collapse first. So if we zoom out, detox remedies for cough and cold are not just about ingredients, they're about principles. Warmth, rest, release, connection, compassion. You can find those in honey and ginger, but you can also find them in silence, in sleep, in hugs, in letting yourself be human. And when you combine the physical with the emotional, the healing multiplies.